Hello and welcome to the weekend edition of National Focus. I'm Pearl Fontaine. Thanks for joining us. Topping the headlines, Brazil set to host Rio Plus 20 conference on sustainable development. Details of ECTEL's 2010-2011 report on telecommunication performances and upgrades underway for the Dominica police force totaling over $3.4 million. All these stories and more when National Focus returns. Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. 20 years after the first Earth Summit, Brazil is set to host Rio Plus 20, officially known as the UN Conference on Sustainable Development. Minister for Fisheries and the Environment, Honorable Dr. Kenneth Darrow, confirmed with GIS News on Friday that Dominica will be represented at next week's conference.
A delegation of 4 will be leaving the island on Monday, led by the Honorable Minister of Energy, Reuben Blackmore, the Director of the Environmental Coordinating Unit, Mr. Lloyd Pascal, and joining us in Rio will be our UN Permanent Representative, the Ambassador Vince Henderson. At this meeting, one of our main, our country position is going to be dictated primarily by our climate resilience strategy and our low carbon development pathway. Because what we think is that this document, I'm sure for those of us who are familiar with it, captures all aspects of sustainable development. Because what this document has done, it has tied in the whole issue of climate resilience and building, adapting and mitigation methods towards climate change to our national development focus. And what it has done, it has identified a number of priority areas that might be or will be affected by climate change and affecting our area, our whole national development plan. Areas such as infrastructure. We know that a lot of our roads are built along the coast. A lot of our infrastructure development are coastal. Areas such as food security, agriculture, water, disaster risk management, and ecotourism. So we think and we are very optimistic that this climate resilience strategy can be presented to the conference, and then of course that funding, the much needed funding to implement this strategy can be obtained at this Rio Plus 20 meeting.
Dr. Darrow explained the origins of the Rio Plus 20 summit.
The world leaders met 20 years ago in this very same city, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And that was to discuss the issues of sustainable development. And coming from this meeting 20 years ago, a number of initiatives, a number of conventions, a number of principles were agreed on as it pertains to the sustainable use of natural resources and equitable sharing of the world's resources. Out of this meeting 20 years ago, 3 pillars of development were established. We call the environmental pillar, the social pillar, and the economic pillar. Now, 20 years later, 1992 to 2012, 20 years later, the world leaders are again assembling to find out what progress was made, where we were, where are we, and where are we heading.
More on the Rio Plus 20 summit in a subsequent newscast. In other news, the Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority, ECTEL, has released its 2010-2011 report on the performance of the telecommunications sector of member countries. Member states include St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and Grenada. Minister for Information, Telecommunications, and Constituency Empowerment, Honorable Ambrose George, gave details of the report during an interview with GIS News on Friday.
During the past year, that is 2010 to 2011, fixed internet subscriptions grew 6%, and the internet service generated revenue to the tune of 85 million EC dollars in the ECTEL member states. This was one of the highlights of the latest report on the electronic communications sector published by the Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority, ECTEL. The annual report, which covers the period ended March 2011, noted that there was a strong consumer demand for fixed internet service. Fixed internet subscriptions grew 6% to more than 71,300, and fixed internet service generated revenue of Eastern Caribbean $85 million. However, mobile voice subscriptions in the 5 ECTEL member states increased 2%, and the mobile penetration was recorded at 128%, while fixed voice penetration continued its decline and fell 1 percentage point to 25%.
The report also addressed specific developments in member countries.
Investment in the telecommunication sector in Dominica was up 25%, and the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the ECCB, estimated gross value added by the sector at 6.7% for the fiscal year 2010. The demand for mobile service in Grenada increased 3%, and more than half the revenue generated by the sector came from the mobile market. Fixed internet subscription in St. Kitts and Nevis, which enjoys the highest internet service penetration in the ECTEL member states, rose 2%, and internet service penetration was recorded at 23%.
We'll bring you more on the 2010-2011 ECTEL report in another newscast. Acting Prime Minister Honorable Reginald Austrie has reaffirmed government's commitment to assist nationals in need. Honorable Austrie, who is also Minister for Housing, told residents of Soufriere, Scots Head and Gallion this week that despite this commitment, nationals should take all available actions to assist community members.
We will continue to assist where we have to assist. We'll continue to help those who have difficulties in helping themselves. The single parents, the elderly, the handicapped, will continue to assist. But please, ladies and gentlemen, do not sit down there waiting for Sam to come and build your toilet for you. It's not going to happen. I can tell you that. It's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. We have to wake up. We have to get up. We have to find creative ways in making this thing happen. Where is the days of the coup de main? Why can't we get the material and go and spend 2 Sundays fixing up the house and fixing up the toilet? What is wrong with that?
Preparations are well underway for the hosting of the Feast of St. Anthony in Tukari this weekend. Parliamentary representative for the Cottage constituency, Acting Prime Minister Honorable Reginald Austrie, told GIS News on Friday that one of the main activities will be the hosting of a whitefish festival.
Tukari is traditionally a fishing village, a number of nets and so on, and we suspect that we're losing that tradition, and also to raise the consciousness of the importance of eating fish as a source of protein. So it's twofold. One, to attempt to bring back the interest and the awareness in fishing in the community, and two, to promote healthy lifestyle. So we've been on Friday night, and Friday night really, for the first time, we're going to do what we call a community night. And that's a night when we allow all the shops and the bars and the business places in the community to do their own thing. Because normally, when we do the activities in Tukari, all the activity, everybody gravitates towards Tukari. And so we get a sense that the other business places within the Cottage and Tukari area, they don't feel it as how we would like them to. So we have said this year, we're going to allow them, each shop with their bar, their bar, with their music system. And so people will come to the village, but they'll be able to move about. The activity will not be centralized in any one location. So we'll be able to move from shop to shop, from bar to bar, and then we'll assess the impact of that as far as the economic returns of that is concerned.
Organizers have also planned a Domino Tournament for Saturday.
For the last 3 years, we have been doing a Domino Tournament where we normally do about 10 of the top teams right across the country, from Soufriere to Castlebrose to all over the country. But this year, and it has been really, really growing by leaps and bounds, and this year we have had to turn teams down, although we have added 6 more teams to the list. So we now have 16 teams rather than 10 teams, and they'll be competing for $1,500 and other prizes. We hope to start that at 7 o'clock on Saturday night. And following the Domino, we'll have Encore, which is a young and upcoming band from the town of Portsmouth, Lago, that will take us into Sunday morning.
The highlight of the celebrations will be held on Sunday.
On Sunday, we have our High Mass, which will be celebrated by Father Sharpless from 11 o'clock. We'll do our usual lunch after. And then for about 2 o'clock, we want to get into what we call a beach festival, a beach party, because you know Tukari has one of the loveliest beaches on the island, but our activities are normally concentrated during the evening times. So now we're trying to bring it earlier on, so people can come there with their families, they can have a swim in the sea, and we can really have some time on the beach. So we'll be doing a Prodigy band. We'll start off at 2 o'clock. That's a young and upcoming band coming out of St. Croix. And that's the first time we're bringing a foreign band into Tukari in all the years of the feast. So we're looking forward to that, and we hope that we can attract some people. It's a band, they're very versatile. They play all type of music, a group of young guys. And we heard them play before. We heard them at the jazz night down in the Carbrates. We heard them at Sister Lodge, and a very, very musical band. So we're hoping to bring them down. Now from 5, 6 o'clock, we're going to be doing Asa Banton. And by now, as I understand it, Asa is really the hottest thing out about this time. And so we're going to bring him in about 6 o'clock on Sunday night. And after that, we're going to do WCK, which will end the show for us. So we really have a nice program, a packed program. I'm hoping that in the usual style, well, you know, Tukari McPherson is a feast that does attract its own, it's probably one of the biggest feasts on the island that attracts its own crowd. And we're hoping that this year will be no different. So we're really, really looking forward to a very good time on the weekend in Tukari.
Speaking at a police press conference on Thursday, Chief of the Dominica Police Force, Cyril Carrett, reported quicker response times, a productive maritime unit, and a very effective task force. He spoke on what he believes is a much improved police force.
The maritime unit of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force is responsible for securing of the maritime borders and has responded to several calls for rescue, including the recent report of an alleged plane crash in the Salmia area, which was later proven to be false. I can also report that they have realized tremendous successes in maritime operations at sea, having seized 3 open keel boats valued at about $210,000, 79 rounds of ammunition, and large sums of money totaling $335,260 for the year 2012. Recently formed task force has contributed tremendously to minimizing criminality, continues to assist several sections and stations in policing events and patrolling the city of Roseau and environs. It has conducted several stop and search operations which have resulted in the seizure of hundreds of offensive weapons, to include knives, cutlasses, scissors, batons, to name a few, and has recovered 2 firearms for the year and 57 rounds of ammunition.
Moreover, the chief disclosed that the drug unit has been focusing on reducing the demand for drugs by education and prohibition. He revealed that several officers are currently being trained overseas, while new recruits have been chosen to fill the ranks of the force.
In excess of 100 men and women have received training in various disciplines, locally, regionally, and internationally for the year thus far. At the moment, we have police officers in Barbados, China, and the United States of America undergoing training. Approval has been granted to fill existing vacancies in the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, and the process is in an advanced stage.
Carrett used the forum to compliment the officers who represented the Dominica Police Force in competitions both locally and abroad.
I take this opportunity to also commend those who have excelled and want to mention specifically the officers of the Regional Security System Basic Course 1 of 2012 who made Dominica proud by capturing the much coveted positions by RSS member states of 1st and 2nd. It has not all been work and no play. So in the area of sports, earlier this year, a team of officers participated in the regional basketball tournament in Bahamas. While they were not successful in securing a top position, they represented their country with distinction. 3 officers recently participated in a track and field event hosted by the Royal Barbados Police Force. Locally, the police continue to engage in various sporting activities to include cricket, basketball, and football. The football team has qualified to play in the semi-finals of the DFA All-Ireland League, having beaten East Grafters by 4-2 on penalty kicks.
And citizens can expect to welcome a newly refurbished Marigot police station and 3 new police stations, totaling over $3.4 million. Compliments the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and the government of Dominica. In addition to those developments, the chief also spoke of the acquisition of 5 new vehicles that will add to the efficiency of the Dominica police force.
During this year, 5 vehicles were procured for the police department and have been assigned to various sections and stations. The Marigot police station was refurbished at a cost of $260,000. A new police station costing approximately $3.2 million is nearing completion. The officers' station at Granby will soon be relocated to their new area of operation. Preparation is ongoing for the construction of new police stations in Kalibishi and La Plaine.
According to the chief, the vehicles have already been distributed to various police departments. And that's the English segment of the news. Macpherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Non moins c'est Macpherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique a envoyé une délégation en grand sommet mondial qui a concerné le développement sustainable qui a pris place en Brésil pour les 22 mois cela. Selon le ministre environ Honorable Dr. Kenneth Darrow, bagay qui a concerné le développement sustainable et puis énergie renouvelable pour la Dominique, en parmi d'autres bagailles qui présentés.
20 années passées, en année 1992, c'est leaders de ces pays là qui ont joué même cité là en Brésil, Rio de Janeiro. Et bien ça c'est pour discuter des affaires sustainable development. So 20 années après ça c'est 2012, où là nous actuellement donc à veiller joindre pour nous voir qui développement, qui progresse nous a fait en ça. So Dominique qu'on souverain pays avec même United Nations qui a envoyé délégation à meeting ça là. Avec délégation qui est composée Honorable Bon Bachman qui est chef délégation. Moi-même, Lloyd Pascal, c'est chef Environmental Coordinating Unit. Avait représentation nous en United Nations, c'est ambassadeur Vince Henderson. Et bien ça nous avons fait un meeting, nous avons joindre avec l'instant later pour nous venir discuter avec comment nous avons chatoué nous forward là il vient pour faire sustainable development. Now we want to play go issues là pour discuter en meeting ça là c'est whole issue green economy. Et bien Dominique nous avons bien avancé en ça. I mean, Dominique, par quoi il sait ça nous a créé un carbon neutral pays, because ça nous a servi, avec forest là nous qui balance of les city emissions là nous a créé pour servir pour des diesel avec ces bêtises là. Et nous avons montré là, avec comme on dit moving elsewhere and the programme, nous avons montré là que nous avons mis l'argent au la bouche nous parce que nous avons commencé à développer geothermal energy. Et bien ça c'est nous dépenser monter l'argent qu'à explorer ça. Ça c'est l'argent nous certains noter ça pour servir pour faire d'autres bagages. So nous avons montré la terre que nous servir qu'on développe qu'on développe renewable energy. Ça contribue to green economy. Et bien actuellement nous plan nous et bien nous parler contre climate resilience strategy qui ministre nous présenter à World Bank là et d'autres monde early en année ça là.
À notre nouvelle communauté tout carré qui tient fête Saint-Antoine week-end cela. Si l'homme membre parlement et puis officier relations publiques pour comité qui en charge ces activités cela, Honorable Reginald Austri, moun sa expecte on leur activité.
Nous avons commencé vendredi au soir. Et ça qu'a fait vendredi au soir, nous voulons faire quelque chose qui est différent l'année ça là. Vous connaissez qu'avant vendredi au soir nous avons commencé toute musique et toute banane tout carré. Mais nous avons quoi que nous mettons tout but en tout cas oui, la Western Village là pas qu'à bénéficier assez Parce que l'année ça, nous avons essayé de voir si nous créer un community night. Là, nous avons demandé tout le monde qui est boutique, tout le monde qui est bar, tout le monde qui est restaurant en place là, pour y ouvrir et faire entertainment yo même. Parce que les gens viennent tout cas, ils pas qu'un west en place en tout cas, mais ils ça drive, ils ça monter cortège, tout cas, ils ça gagne à chaque boutique ils passe, comme ça tout le monde a une chance pour faire la monnaie am sur ça là. Samedi nous gros jouer domino comme ça avant nous gagner 10 teams ou tout mon pays là, l'année ça là nous 16. Comme ça nous increase et nous tenons pour dire et puis mon total nous passe à point parce que plus monde veut venir parce que pour 3 l'année domino c'est bien chaud. Et nous avons joué pour $1,500 pour ça, là qui sort du premier, qui a tapé 1,000, ça qui sort du deuxième, qui a tapé 500. Donc, 1,500. Et après ça, nous avons encore un jeune band de Lagon, constituency même, nous avons une chance pour nous faire un bloc-up et nous mettons un bon dimanche matin. Dimanche, nous avons la messe nous, à 11h, Pécha plus célébrer la messe à ça. Et nous avons déjeuner nous la coutume. Et hot désert, encore l'année ça, nous avons essayé de faire ça, nous avons créé un beach party. Parce que comme ça, tout cas, nous avons une plage dans le pays là. Mais nous ne pas nous avons utilisé la plage là assez. Parce que avant l'activité, nous avons toujours commencé les souhaits. Comme ça, nous avons mené bien bonne l'année ça là. Comme ça, nous avons venu là, avec famille, nous avons bien là, mais là, nous avons injoui tout cas.
Et puis finalement, officier qui est en charge curriculum français, ministre de l'Éducation, Mary-Ann Augustus Francis, qui a complimenté Mme Sonia Akpa et puis Jemima Didier pour l'honneur de recevoir le ministre de l'Éducation, travail à augmenter le langage français en Dominique. Akpa et puis Didier recevoir l'honneur à pendant le festival français qui était tenu pour l'école primaire tout mon pays jeudi semaine là.
Mme Akpa avec l'Organisation internationale de la francophonie, qui a aidé l'école là. Par exemple, il fait un chambre français à Roseau Primary. Ok, Madame Gemini Collier Didier, il a fait ses teachers apprendre français aussi, pour former pour meilleur apprendre. Et puis c'est qui a fait premier festival français pour mettre devant ça c'est tout le monde là qui a fait à l'école là. So, nous tous contents aujourd'hui.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est Macpherson Saint-Louis. Un bon week-end et bonne journée papa. Au revoir.
When we come back, we'll bring you the upcoming events and government notices. Please stay tuned.
You're watching GIS.
Time now for your government notices. The general public is asked to note that registration for the Adult Education Annual Summer Program, carded for July 9th to August 24th, is now open. For information on the courses being offered, interested persons are asked to collect the following numbers based on your area. Southwest Adult Education Division on 22 Kennedy Avenue. Telephone numbers 226-3305 or 266-3356. In the North Adult Learning Center, Portsmouth, telephone numbers 445-5101 or 285-7149. Northeast Learning Center in Benz, telephone number 445-3125 or 225-3743. Southeast River Sirik, telephone number 225-6292 or contact any of the area's village councils. For the West, telephone numbers 225-885 or 266-3305. Again, that's 225-8885 or 266-3305. For the South, the telephone numbers are 266-3305 or 613-7576. For the East, contact any of the area's village councils or call 612-3091. In keeping with the provisions of Section 5 and 11 of the Electricity Supply Act, Number 10 of 2006, the Ministry of Public Works, Energy and Ports solicits applications from suitably qualified and interested people to serve on the 5-member Independent Regulatory Commission, IRC, for the electricity sector in Dominica. Successful applicants are expected to serve for a period between 2 and 3 years effective July 1st, 2012. Applicants should possess substantial experience and sound qualifications in law and/or substantial legal regulatory experience relevant to the electricity industry. Alternatively, he/she should be qualified and experienced in accounting, finance, and/or business management. Copies of the Electricity Supply Act No. 10 of 2006 are available from the government printry. Applications including curriculum vitae should be sent under confidential cover to the attention of the Honourable Minister, Ministry of Public Works, Energy and Ports, Government Headquarters, Kennedy Avenue, Roseau, Commonwealth of Dominica, and should reach by June 29, 2012. All those concerned are asked to note the following hurricane shelters and shelter managers for the communities of Grand Fort, Post Shelter, and Riviere Syrique. For Grand Fort, your hurricane shelters are the Sunrise Sewing Group building. The shelter manager is Carnetta George, and the assistant shelter manager is Cynthia Abraham. The House of Gwyneth Ansem, shelter manager Gwyneth Ansem, assistant manager Jocelyn Matthew. The Grand Fort Government School. The shelter manager there is Solomon Pascal, and his assistant is Rose Pascal. The ground floor of the Grand Fort Skills Training Center. The shelter manager is Shirley George, assistant Emmanuel Lockhart. Post Shelter, your hurricane shelters are the Government School. The shelter manager there is Birdie Phillip. The Community Hall. The shelter manager is Shirley George. The assistant is Emmanuel Lockhart. For Riviere Syrique, your hurricane shelters are the Riviere Syrique Pentecostal Church, where the shelter manager is Christopher George and his assistant is Joseph Lawrence. And the Riviere Syrique Resource Center, the shelter manager there is John George and the assistant manager is Kurt Cuffey. All citrus farmers of the South Agricultural Region, including Roseau Valley, Jourdel, Eglison, Bellevue-Chopin, Pichelet, Grand Bay, Bagatelle, Petite Savane, Soufriere, Point Michel, and Scott's Head, are kindly requested to attend a meeting on Monday, June 18 at the Public Service Union Conference Room on Valley Road at 4 p.m. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss the citrus greening disease and to learn how we can save our citrus industry. Please make a special effort to attend and to be on time. Members of the public are asked to take note of the following numbers which could prove useful during the hurricane season. The Office of Disaster Management in Jimmet, 448-8831. The hotline is 448-7777. The website is www.odm.gov.dm. Their email address is odm@dominica.gov.dm. The Dominica Met Service in Canefield Airport, 449-1990. The fax number is 449-2020. You can email them at metoffcan@cwdom.dm. Dominica Met Service in Melville Hall Airport, 445-7878. The fax number is 445-7849. The email address is metoffmar@cwdom.dm or metoffice@cwdom.dm. The weather hotline is 447-5555 or visit their website at www.weather.gov.dm for updated weather reports. Up next is the tip of the day. Our tip today is about staying safe in the sun. If you plan on going to the beach, bring an umbrella or make sure there is some sort of shade for you to sit in. It is important to always stay hydrated by drinking plenty of water and wearing sunglasses when in the sun to protect your eyes. Be sure to check your body for any unusual moles or spots after sun exposure. And that's National Focus. As usual, we invite your suggestions or comments. Please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or you can visit our website at news.gov.dm or you could visit our GIS Dominica page on YouTube and Facebook. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Pearl Fontaine. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.